So how you were in Shanghai for 3 years?
3 years.
What were you doing there?
I was teaching at NYU Shanghai, which is basically
Shanghai.
Sorry, yeah, excuse me. I'll do the tones next time. Basically, like NYU was like, where can we go to make more money? I'm gonna get fired. Where can we go to make more money? And so they opened a campus in Abu Dhabi and Shanghai, which is where all the rich kids are.
I remember the Abu Dhabi one going like, what are you doing here exactly?
Yeah, that was their first one, and it's like they were like, it's this cultural center of the Gulf, and you're like, I don't think it is. Like they built a fake Louvre, next to the fake university, which is anyway. So I was at NYU Shanghai, and then while I was there, I got that's where I started doing stand up.
The culture in the Gulf is Bedouins.
Yes.
You're talking about whenever like the culture, like no, you mean the 7 richest families.
Exactly.
And then everyone else is not that.
Exactly. And they're excluded from all your GDP numbers and all your everything, and so you look super rich and you're not. Yeah. You treat them horribly and they all die. Loose summary of what's going on over there. And then I was also a circus performer at a club called Cirque du Soir on the Bund, which maybe you visited while you were there. Cirque du Soir. They got sued. They used to be called Cirque du Soir, but they got sued by Cirque du Soleil. So they had to change it to Cirque le Soir.
What'd you do there?
It was a circus-themed nightclub, and so I did trapeze and fire and like bed of nails and burlesque and stuff like that.
What do you do for the fire?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, and body burning. You can see I have like scars from, and everyone's like, "Oh, is that supposed to happen?" No, like that means I fucked up.
Well,
like,
that long one. Yeah.
And I would go in to teach. And just have blood all down my...
Really?
I'd like roll up my sleeve and be like, oh shit, and like roll it back down.
Mrs. Jones-Rooy is badass.
Yeah. So I did those things. And then the circus closed, and then I was like, I've had enough of academia, and it's unethical, all the stuff that we were talking about, and I left, and I was like, comedy in New York, freelance, and eventually NYU was like, will you come back? We'll give you health insurance. And I said, okay. So I'm back.
I mean, here it's not that unethical. I do agree with you. There's something I've never thought of it that way. The for-profit education is like, it's maybe not the best model.
Like originally, not to be like I was like Captain High Horse, because the other big motivation was I was just like, I've been in higher education my entire life. I'd like to do anything other than this. But the original model at NYU Shanghai was because no students really wanted to go there. The student body is half Chinese, half international, and it's hard to just be like, here's a brand new university in China, Americans, people in Africa, European, whatever, come, right? So they gave like basically free tuition. So if you got into NYU regular and ticked some box that was like, I would consider going to Shanghai, they would say, okay, you can come here for free. And so our first 2 years,
wow.
So our first 2 years, we had a ton of like first generation college students. We had a student from Queens who'd never left the country. We had a student from LA who like otherwise could never have afforded NYU. And so they are like moved to China, like major culture shock. They struggled a little bit, but then were great. And it was a really cool mix of students because it was just this bizarre group that otherwise couldn't have gone to college. And then by the time I was in my third year, they were like, okay, now we're tuition driven. So tuition is like even more expensive than NYU, New York.
That's what I would assume it would be.
Yeah.
Because like we got to put you up and feed you and do, although everything's cheaper there.
Exactly.
So what? Yeah,
exactly.
I don't know.
And like speaking of the stuff you were saying with like in the Gulf, it's the same sort of thing where like expats were paid very well, but all the local staff and faculty, like especially people who were teaching Chinese, were paid local rates.
What they had to be to get them there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we were given apartments. I mean, it was wonderful, but like very unequal and insane. So then I moved back here into NYU.
How'd you like Shanghai?
Well. Awesome.
It's so cool.
It's so awesome. How long were you there?
I'm not very long. 8 or 9 days.
Oh, I went thinking it wouldn't, like, I was like, okay, fine. But it's like, it makes New York City seem like a village. And everyone's like, this is the center of the world. And you're like, no, it's not. It's not.
New York is not.
New York is not. Yeah.
Is it 24 or 20 million?
24, I think.
24.
Depending on how you measure it.
Beijing is 20?
Yeah, something like that.
And you're just like, what's New York? Like, far smaller. Half?
Yeah. Like where Turner lived in Suzhou is the neighboring town.
Oh, yeah.
And I went there a few times for the comedy show. And I was like, oh, we're going to some, sleepy Fisher village or whatever. And on the bus on the way there, I was like, wait, so how many people live here? And they were like, 8 million.
Yeah.
You're like, that's New York.
Yeah. And they're like, it's a sleepy next door neighbor.
Yeah.
They know they're a small town.
And honestly, I was like, what's Turner doing in Suzhou? There's nothing there. And it's in New York City.
The gardens, that's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Those gardens, did they put you up in that hotel with the gardens right behind it?
No. They didn't put me up in shit.
I was a foreigner, I guess.
Yeah. No, I took a train back while drunk on Baijiu. It's horrible. Did you have Baijiu while you were there?
Maybe. What is it?
It's their grain alcohol.
Oh. I don't think I did.
It's a nightmare.
Really?
It's like sort of like soju sake, but it's 3 times as strong, and it's like weirdly sweet. It's very bad.
No, I don't think I had it, unless I had like one shot, maybe.
You would remember.
Like Malort, where you have it once and you're like, this sucks. Like, we know.
Yeah. No, Malort is amazing compared to this. I would drink buckets of it compared to this.
What a fun place. Everyone smokes all the time.
All the time. In elevators.
Yeah, it's just great. Everyone's so like, and it's safe,
a free-for-all.
right?
It's completely safe. I would get off work at the circus at 4 a.m. We'd wander around. You go to after parties that go till noon. You know, I mean, New York, maybe that's going on in New York, but I'm not cool enough for that here.
Did you find the expat scene was like, because it's, I mean, I heard it compared to like, my friend Sarah was like, when we're done here and we got to go back to real life, I think she was in Hong Kong. But just that term, real life, being this here, and that meaning not real life.
It was a fantasy, amazing world.
It's just the drugs and there's no reason not to drink. You can be, if you teach English, you can be hungover tomorrow. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's intense.
Damn, that was a good video. Hey, do me a favor. If you like that, leave a comment, hit subscribe. If you want to join my Patreon, absolutely. Patreon.com/Ari Shaffir. But the important thing here is you hit that subscribe button on YouTube. That'll help me out. Make me bring you more free, amazing content. I'm Ari Shaffir, and I'm the greatest living entertainer in the world.